Google played a trick on us. So we were headed to the butterfly sanctuary, and Taxco was in the middle of a 7-hour trip. So I went on Google Maps to look for a place to stay in Taxco and found a hotel on the outskirts that was listed as $32. I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Looks nice. So proceeded to book the Monte Taxco Hotel, which was not $32, by the way, but it was a very good deal. It was less than $100 a night. And then we proceeded to make the map, or find the map to go to the hotel.
Right, so we're driving along, and we've been driving on the highway, and we get off and take the little scenic route. We're still, it's a nice road, and we're going along, and everything's great. And we get to Iguala, and we're like, oh, it's 40 kilometers. But Google Maps is saying it's over an hour to get there. So this is where they played a trick on us twice. So
40 kilometers is like 25 miles.
Yeah, 25 miles. We're like, no way, we're not driving that slow here. I know it's slow, it's mountainous, there's speed bumps and all this, but it really wouldn't take us that long. Now, keep in mind, it is pitch black at this point in time. So absolutely dark, and we make our way into Taxco, and we're like, great. And then starts the problems. Google Maps tells us to take this left turn up this seemingly 45-degree angle road. Now, keep in mind, John's driving a stick shift here, and the roads are really narrow. So it's about a lane and a half. And while there's not a lot of traffic at 9 o'clock at night, while it's pitch black, there are cars coming in the opposite direction that we have to avoid. There's businesses and houses narrowly closing in on the street from both sides. And this map is insane. There's twists and turns all over the place. So we start following this map, and it leads us up and up and up and over and around, and we miss a turn, and oh crap, John's gonna make a U-turn on this road. There's no place to make a U-turn. I mean, there's barely enough room to drive. He pulls out his miraculous driving skills, gets us turned around, we make the turn, and we continue up, and we curve, and we curve. We're like, where in the world is this taking us? Taxco is this little town. It's built into the mountainside, but it's a little town. How can we possibly go this far to get to this hotel? And then we're going along, and we realize that there's no guardrails. And we're going up and up, and to the right of us is just drop-offs or roofs of buildings from below.
So when it's pitch black out, there's no street lights, and there's speed bumps along the way, and
because you got to have speed bumps on this road because
going up at 45 degrees. I think we were in first gear literally the whole entire way. So that's kind of the scary part. Is at night you can't see what's over the ledge there, and all you can see is the glittering lights of the city off in the distance, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is death trap here.
This is insanity. And then we get the comedian in the back seat. So we knew that our 9-year-old daughter had some comedic outbursts here and again, but we're driving along and she just pulls out all of the stops here. So the first one was, I see why the Mexican people like their Jesus statues so much. Like, what?
She was scared to death of this road. She was, oh my gosh, like
clutching her seatbelt tightly because she's scared of this road. And so, all right, now we've got people praying to Jesus, and we're like, okay. And then we randomly get Google's more than helpful voice, the little navigation voice where she stops and says, turn right here. And we look and we're like, there's no road there. There is a cliff here. So she's about, 100 meters, a little too soon. And we're like, yeah, no, we'll pass Google, but thank you for that. We get to another stretch of road where there's some dirt road here. And this little voice from the back, once again.
Dad, I know why you got the insurance on the car now. So
Why does this
we were at-
9-year-old understand this?
we were at the car rental place, and the guy says, "Do you want insurance?" And while we were there, she was like, "Why do you need that?" I was like, "Well, you just never know." And so we're driving along this road, and she's like, "Now I know why you got the insurance."
Yeah, and then once again, one more time, we pass this giant, like, 8-foot cross on the side of the road. A very substantial cross there. And she just pipes up once again. Is the cross for the living or for the dead? As we're cresting hills where we can't see over the edge because once again, it is absolutely pitch black and there are no people around at this point. So we continue on our way, blindly following Google, hoping to all get out that it actually takes us where we want to get to. And we're a quarter of a mile from the hotel. And we run into a gate. A gate that has a bar across it that is 100% padlocked and no one around. Not a soul around.
It doesn't look like the gate to the hotel. It just looks like this random end of the road kind of gate. And so we're stopped trying to figure out what the heck to do. Figuring out, should we go all the way back to the start and figure out a different way, or what to do? And we were just kind of sitting there, stuck for a minute. Bathroom break time.
So our son thankfully takes the phone, looks at the map, and he's like, well, if we go back to the last crossing, the last road that we could go on and take a right there, then we can wind our way around and we'll get to the hotel kind of in this roundabout way. So John pulls out once again his amazing driving skills and gets us turned around. We head back down the mountain. It's not too far to go back. And we turn and we make our way to this road that our son had found. And we actually make it to the hotel within about, I don't know, another 5-10 minutes. And we're at the hotel and we're like, oh my word, this was the most nerve-wracking drive that we have been on, where it's pitch black and the only thing you can see are the lights of the town down the mountainside to the right.
So the funny thing is, once we get to the hotel, Google Maps pipes up and sends up a little survey. Did you arrive at your destination?
How were the directions?
And so unknowingly, I just clicked it. Yes, they were fine. We got here.
But the real trick that they played on us is the next morning we get up and we're like, okay, we want to go down the mountain again, and we look and there's this little road that's, I don't know, a mile and a half long, where there's 4 twists and turns up the mountain, or down the mountain in this case, and you get to the main road that we were on to start with before they turned us to head up this crazy road to the hotel. So rather than send us across town on this curving, twisting highway style road that was very safe, and then have us go up this small stretch of road to actually get to the hotel, they said, no, we're going to have fun with the Yates family today. We're going to send them on this crazy trip up the mountain, and we're going to see if they have the nerves to actually make it to the hotel. And I'll tell you, if we hadn't had reservations there, we'd have found a different hotel.
Yeah, hopefully somewhere along the way there would have been something. But
it turned out it was a very, very memorable trip. We will never forget it. We laughed. We enjoyed it as a family. It's just one of those things that we'll go down in Yates family history. 20 years from now, we'll be like, you remember that trip we took to Taxco? Oh, yeah, that drive in the middle of the night where we couldn't see a thing. And then the locked gate, and yeah. So yeah, don't always trust Google, though.
It was a good trip, and it was a beautiful hotel that we got lucky with. So that was a nice little trick of Google's. But here that's it. Here comes the end of the road, and we will see you at the hotel.